Hello, everyone, and welcome to this bonus podcast episode from Photobooth Workshop. It's me, Sky, Nicole, and we have a super special guest on today. Her name is Rebecca Caldwell, and she will actually be our first workshop host of our live event next week. So I'm going to pass it over to Rebecca so she can introduce herself and her business.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. I am thrilled. This is going to be such a fun conversation. My name's Rebecca. I live at the base of the Great Smoky Mountains in East Tennessee with my daughter and my husband and my dogs. And I am a marketing measurement and paid ad strategist. So I help people measure their marketing efforts so they can spend more time living and less time behind their laptops. And after we're done with their measurement system, I also help them build lead generating systems so they can continue to live their lives laptopless.
What a dream. I love that. How did you get into...
Sometimes we have to use our laptops, I guess, but
yeah,
when we want to.
Yeah. How did you get into this business? Like, did you always love data growing up, or like how did you land here?
Yeah, so I love this question because I started out in the online space kind of like everyone else, like, oh, how do I make money online? Oh, social media management. Oh, general VA. Oh, okay. And then I found my way to Facebook advertising right in the middle of like the iOS debacle. And I was like, well, if we can't measure anything, like we're just going to spend money frivolously. And I have an associate's degree in accounting. So that's what we're not going to do. We're not going to do that. But I think one of the reasons I kind of went down the data path is I have a sister that's 7 years older than me. And I remember being just a little thing in the back of mom's car. And mom would be like asking my sister Charity math questions to like help her with the math. And I would be like, oh, mom, let me answer. And she'd be like, Rebecca, this work isn't for you. No. So I think I've always been a little nerdy. Also, my mom is like the spreadsheet queen. So I'm pretty sure that she gave that interest like just right to me.
Yeah. DNA that long.
Yeah.
So when you were like a VA and social media strategist, were you like kind of building these spreadsheets and dashboards for your clients? Like, did you know that numbers and measuring certain data points were important?
I think that kind of came after when I was advertising. So like, I think for me, and maybe this is an opinion not lots of people have, but organic marketing has so much nuance that even if you measured it, you can't always really tell why it's working. Like there's so many different things that go into that. So yes, I was building reports, but I think once I started spending people's like hard-earned dollar bills, I was like, okay, like we really need to start to like unpeel this onion and figure out why what we're doing is working or not working so we can spend your dollars really effectively.
Okay, I'm going off the rails of how I thought this was going to go. Not quite.
Let's
but
do it.
We kind of want to back up and like, what metrics are you measuring, recommending people measure? Because I feel like a lot of our audience is like all in on Instagram and they're like, okay, this is my follower count. These are, or like even revenue, like they're following like, I don't want to say basic numbers, but like they're like, I'm going to market on Instagram. And if followers are growing, that means more people see my business. And then as long as I'm making more money, then I'm tracking all the right things.
Yeah. So I think we have buckets. We have like 4 major buckets. We have like a visibility bucket. We have a booking bucket. We have a nurture bucket. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we have 3 buckets. I think the most important things to measure are the closest things to your cash flow. So like your fastest path to cash. Okay. So for you guys, like if you're having a sales conversation with your prospects before they book, then that's going to be the most important thing. How many sales conversations am I having? If your people don't need sales conversations and they can just like submit an inquiry and then you're like, hey, here's my brochure. These are the dates I have available. Is this one of your dates? And then they book, you would then be focusing on inquiries. So it's really nuanced. And that's so annoying, right? Everybody, like nobody wants to hear it depends, but really it does depend. So I think once you have that fastest path to cash number like really dialed in, then you can start to go outside and be like, okay, cool. Well, if people have reached out to me, but they haven't booked, what's that one thing that I could be doing to measure moving those inquiries from warm to purchase, and so maybe that's your email metrics or however you follow up with people. And then once you have that nailed down, then we really need to be thinking about cold. I think we think about it the other way sometimes, but you probably already have a handful of people that want to book your service or know that they want to pay you. So let's take care of those people first and then kind of expand what we're doing. So the last thing I think, unfortunately, is like those Instagram metrics. And I hate to call them vanity metrics because I think that takes away some of their power. They are important. It's super important for visibility. Like you have to, it's business is a numbers game. You have to be visible in order to get those people that are interested. But I think when we really solely focus on growing our follower count, we're doing a disservice to our business because what we really want is like engaged humans. And those things aren't always the same.
Yes. I loved your 4 buckets. Okay, I think when I was reading it last night, it's visibility, first touch, conversions, nurture.
Yes, that's
Your
exactly. Yeah.
your fast cash or closest to cash would be the conversions, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Or booking. Sometimes I'll call it booking. So whatever that looks like for you.
Oh, yeah. So let's say we're booking who we get, but we're not getting enough.
Yeah.
Then is that the visibility or is that first touch? Like, what are the
I
difference
think
between
that's
those?
interesting, right? So maybe you decide that I'm going to focus on both of these things at the same time. I'm going to focus on my visibility with my first touch metrics in mind. So am I growing? Is my reach growing? Not so much my followers, my reach. Like, are enough people seeing what I'm doing? And then, like,
Mhm.
how many people are converting into first touch? Because that's the first step, Like, we get in front of more people, but we really need people to engage with us, like to say, hey, I think I want to hire you, or ask you a question, or um, spend time on that dedicated services page of your website.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so practically speaking, if we're talking about Instagram, this would look like reach would be like the number of views on a reel or a carousel post. And then if we're like tracking those metrics, and then first touch would be maybe DMs from that
Yeah,
carousel
or
post or reel.
even like story
Yeah.
taps on your stories. Like if you're sending them directly to a services page, you can include that too.
Mm.
Okay. And then that
Okay.
that can like rate that would kind of show you how effective your kind of content is in
Yeah. Have you
converting.
guys heard of an engagement rate on Instagram?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's probably what I would be looking at for like my visibility on Instagram. Instead of really looking at follower count, I would be looking at my engagement rate. So if you don't know what engagement rate is, that is the number of impressions, people that have seen that specific post, and the number of likes, shares, and comments that you got. So you take likes, shares, comments, you add them up. For the sake of easy math, we're going to say 10. And then if that post reached 100 people, you have a 10% engagement rate. And so I will get you a more definitive answer, but I think off the top of my head, it's between like 2 and 6% is like the average. So if you have a 10% engagement rate, then okay, cool. What I'm posting makes sense. The people that are following me are into what I'm posting. Then the next thing that you want to be looking at, the next question you want to answer is, but are those people actually interested in booking my service? So they could be interested in what you're talking about because they love you or they love your vibe, or they're a competitor and they're like, oh, yeah, that's good. Like, I want to say something similar to that. But
Yeah.
we really want to make sure that we're thinking about like what quality metric goes along with this that actually moves the needle in my business. Because I think we literally could track like 800 quadrillion things until we wanted to never ever look at a spreadsheet again. But I don't think that like serves anybody because what are you gonna do with all that? Then you're like, cool, I have all these numbers and I don't even want to make decisions because at this point I'm already fatigued by looking at all these numbers.
So when we talk about vanity metrics, or we hear that, I know you said you don't like to necessarily talk like say it's vanity, but what would be included as vanity? Would that be like, oh, my followers, my follower
I
count, or is
think
it?
I think that you have to think about like the vanity metrics, like they're vanity if they're not doing anything for you. If growing your follower count also means that you're getting a ton more DMs, also means that your story taps are improving, also means that your bookings are improving. Okay, cool. Followers are doing something for you. That's
Mm.
important for you to look at. So it's so weird. I'm just going to give an example. Like in my business, I've been around like 700 followers for like 100 years. Um, so that doesn't impact or make me make any more decisions because I know when I show my face, my cute little face, and use my voice on Instagram, people book my services. So it's
Mhm.
only vanity if it's not doing anything for you. If you can see a correlation, then that's not a vanity metric for you. You should probably pay attention to it. If you're like, man, I know if I post 4 reels, I'm going to grow my followers by X amount, and that means this many new people are going to reach out to me, grow your followers.
Yeah.
Okay. I love
We
that.
see I see a lot of photo booth owners kind of go on groups and say, "Hey, please follow me," to like boost their follower numbers because they think that if they grow their follower numbers, it will grow their visibility, I think, in Instagram. But to me, that doesn't make any sense because if your followers are full of other competitors and those are the ones that are liking, commenting, engaging, then you have really nothing to track because nothing's going to convert. And you're,
Wholeheartedly agree with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's why we saw, like we used to see like comment pods or like engagement pods or
yeah.
whatever, where like the homies would get together and like engage on each other's posts. But I think those are like long lost. But because of exactly what you said, and maybe with an old algorithm, like maybe previously that was important because you were ranked on how many like impressions or like how many engagements you got quickly. So like if you
Mhm.
posted and then 100 people liked it immediately, you would get more juice. But I think the algorithm is so smart now that we really need to be looking at like quality engagements. So I would rather
Yeah.
have like a 6% engagement reach with humans that I know actually intend to book my services or will say my name in rooms I'm not in than to have like a
Mhm.
15% engagement rate with my homies who just love me because they think I'm funny, or whatever. So I think all of those things are so nuanced, but you make a great point. Yeah. Don't ask
Yeah.
your competitors to follow you.
Okay. We've dove in a lot on Instagram. If someone is very overwhelmed, burnt out by Instagram, what are other metrics you recommend they measure that I feel like people don't initially think about when they're starting a business?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Um, Also in that same boat, but unfortunately, I have proven to myself I need to continue to use it. So if you're like, nope, not proven to myself that I need to use it. So I'm going to do other things. I think the most important things to measure is look at your website traffic because, well, first let's take a step back. If people are using your website to book you, look at your website traffic. If people are like emailing you because their Aunt Martha's uncle's brother's cousin gave them your email address, look at your emails. That's what you should look at. But if people are visiting your website and that they're submitting an inquiry form, start to look at your website traffic, as in where's it coming from? I have a really great blog post on UTM links. If you don't know what those are, please read that blog post because that will give you lots more insight into where your people are coming from. And then start to pay attention to the pages. Like, what pages are they spending the most time on? How many pages have the most visits? And start to think about if someone landed on this page, what improvements might I make to get them to submit an inquiry form? So think about those things. Um, Google Analytics has a pretty rad way that you can see how people flow through your website. I have a YouTube video about it and a blog post. And that's really interesting. So start to notice those trends, like what pages are people landing on? Where are they going from there? How could I complete a loop for them?
Was
Mm.
there a visual where it shows your website and it shows like little lines of like where their mouse is moving?
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know that existed, and I think that's really cool because you can, like, see pages, but, like, you don't know if someone just, like, accidentally is, like, clicking on things and clicking all around, like, I don't know how to deep dive into analytics.
Yeah.
No secret here, I hired Rebecca to create a dashboard for me because I don't understand analytics whatsoever. Um,
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to go look at that visual because I'm so visual. I can look at numbers
Yeah.
and I'm like, what does that
I know, I'm
mean?
so excited to teach you all those things. So, like, that's part of the process. Like, once we're done with our project, you'll be like, "Oh, I know how to do all that." You'll be able to make data-driven decisions. So exciting.
I'm so
Yeah, so it's an actual visual, and then, um, look at your keywords, like so that would be your search console data, which we're gonna talk about in my workshop. I'm so excited to share that with you guys. Um and see, are these the things that I would want people to be searching to get to my website? So make sure you have kind of a clear understanding of that. There's SEO is like a never ending journey. So that I'm not an expert in, but at least seeing like what is happening right now. I think that'll help you make decisions about where you spend your time, like as far as improvements, and then like what marketing is working right now. And you can decide, cool, do I want to spend my time marketing in that way to sustain the level of business that I have? Or do I want to take a hard pivot and like do something else because I'm sick of what I'm doing, or it's making me uncomfortable, or I just don't want to do it anymore, or I don't have time to do it anymore. I think that's one of the things that you don't hear people talk a lot about when they talk about data is that like you want your facts and your feelings. Like we're humans, we're having a human experience. So you should pair those two together when you're making decisions for yourself.
Yeah, you talk a lot about data and intuition and that working together. And I think, um, like a lot of people in this space would consider themselves a creative more than like
Yeah.
a data person like you.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. How can you combine intuition and data in this world?
Yeah, that's such a good question. Okay, so I think I do this like intuitively. So it's kind of hard to unpeel the onion. So I'm just going to try. I think the way that I do it is I look at the facts. What are the facts? What does this factually say? And then, okay, so what story does that tell me? And
Mm,
then, is this story true? Is this
okay.
story true? Or do I just feel some kind of way? Yeah, okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, I literally Instagram makes me want to throw up. Like it just, woo, mm. I know it seems like maybe I'm a little outgoing. Nope. Nope. Shy little introverts most of the time, especially online because I think it's different. Okay. So I look at my data and I'm like, oh, 100 million people came to my website from Instagram. That's great. Not really 100 million people, but you know what I mean? Like 60% of my traffic came from Instagram. That's interesting. I don't want to do that. And then what's the story? The story is that Instagram works. But then I'm like, oh no, that's not true. I am not good at Instagram. I only get 8 likes a post. So it's like, that's the part where like, is that actually true? Because I only get 8 likes a post, but are those 8 people that wanted to hire me? Like, and if that's
Mm.
the case, and you had 8 people come into your business right now and say, I want you to build a dashboard, would you throw up? Yes, probably. I would be like, great, can you form a line? So I
Yeah.
think it's like not not letting um the way that we feel about something influence our decisions in like skewing the decisions. It can totally influence your decision, but don't skew your data with your own feelings. Like the data is that Instagram works. My feelings are that it's hard and scary. What action I'm going to take from that is that I'm going to put my pants on and be really sweaty and put my face and my voice on camera because I know that it does work.
Mm.
Until I've worked out other marketing strategies that replace Instagram. So currently on an SEO quest for myself because Instagram makes me sweaty, on a YouTube quest for myself because YouTube is a really good SEO driver. And while it's video, it's like supposed to be a little more polished. Instagram feels very like off the cuff. And I don't trust myself with off the cuff very much. Like I think and say some wild stuff that's like just for my inner circle. I'm a very like private human. So, anyways, that was like a whole tangent.
I love
Did
that.
that did I answer your question? Was that a good
Yeah.
example? Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
I think that was a really good example because I think a lot of times people see something like 8 likes and they're like, "Oh, why do I even put the effort into this post?" But a post that's
Mhm.
meant to convert isn't meant to get that kind of engagement. It's meant to drive people to your website to click and book your services. And I think that's
100%.
if you don't also see that metric, I think it makes Instagram feel really hard and like a waste of your time. But if
Yeah.
60% of your website traffic and clients are coming from that, then you can't just turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that also gives you a chance to decide, like, okay, cool. If I know this is working, maybe I just want to use ads. Like, you don't always have to use your effort. Like, if you know something's working, you could also use your money. So there's like, I
Mm.
think, three energy sources: time, money, energy. You know what I mean? Three of those. What are you going to do? So if you're like, "Phew, it took a whole lot of my energy to create this post that did result in a booking," cool. Use your money to make it last longer for you.
Mm. Okay. I want to dive into ads, but I'm going to ask you one more question on intuition and data.
Cool.
You talked about a launch that you were going to do, but you ended it early because the numbers weren't matching the vibe. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Okay, cool. So, I think selfishly, we all think like, okay, cool. Like, how can I do some sort of group thing because I want to scale my income? Duh. That's what the online sales tells us to do. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to do like this group dashboard situation. I'm going to teach people all this techie stuff. And I'm like writing these emails and people are like opening them and they're responding like, oh, this was good. But nobody's like going to the checkout page. Like nobody's getting there. And I'm like, okay, why might that not be happening? If they're opening the emails, visibility, check, they're reading it. They're responding, engagement, check. Okay. There has to be a problem with the offer. And then I'm like in this group with my peers who often hire me, same group where I met Sky. And I'm like, guys, I don't think anybody likes this. Like, I don't think anybody has any time to learn this. And one of the girls sends me a message and she's like, Rebecca, I've been reading all of your emails. They're very good. That's exactly why I didn't buy. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's right. So then I was just like, cool. Why would I waste any more of my energy on something the humans don't want? Because like I really, really care about the people that are in my circle that would choose to pay me and I want to serve them in the best way. So I was like, all right, cool. We're not going to do that. And then I just started talking about custom dashboards and now my calendar's full. So I could feel that the vibes were off. And then it was like, how can I unpeel this like data onion to figure out why the vibes were off? And also, it's okay to ask questions. I think that's something that my mom also gave me. I have like a really insatiable curiosity for everything. And so when you're working on something and you're trying it and you're like, this isn't really going the way I thought this would be going, and you're trying to sell something to a set of humans, it's okay to be like, hi, humans. This isn't going the way I thought it would be going. Could you tell me why? Or can you share your opinions? I ask for opinions a lot, all the time. Do
I love it.
yeah, but you don't have to like, you get to decide where to keep the meat and leave the potatoes with the opinions. Like, that's also just data points. So I don't allow them to like influence my decisions solely, just extra sets of
Mm.
data.
Love that. You're a numbers girl, but very much a people person, which I think is
Mhm.
very important.
Yeah.
Real quick, because we've talked about it a couple times. Will you talk about what your custom dashboard is if people are like, what is a dashboard?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so my custom dashboards are built with Google Looker Studio, which is a free Google tool. Anybody can use it. And the custom dashboards connect to basically everything. Anything that you could get inside of a spreadsheet, you can build a dashboard around. So, cool if I use you for an example. Okay, sweet. So Sky's dashboard has tons of website metrics, like where's her traffic coming from? What's the most visited pages? What keywords is she ranking for? We're also going to track like who's submitting we would, this is for her other business. So we would track who would be submitting a contact form if that was the website that we were working on. I also do membership dashboards. So if you have a membership, we track how people are functioning in your membership. Are they using the tools? Um, if you sell products, what does that look like? How are people visiting the sales page? from what traffic sources are they visiting the sales page? From what traffic sources are converting? Because you might notice, oh, these are different. Then you need to make a new choice, you know? So your custom dashboard is tailored to you. And when we start the dashboards, we sit down, we have a conversation. What tools are you using and what do you want to measure? Because what questions do you want to be able to answer? And then I build you an like all-in-one tool that you can pull up to help make decisions about your business instead of having to look on like 17 different spreadsheets and in a bunch of different places for your analytics. So you get it all in one place so that you kind of remove some of the fatigue that comes from pulling all of your analytics together.
Amazing.
I love this. Okay, can we talk about what other things Google has to help you track your numbers? Because I feel like Google gives you so many free resources, but they make it so intimidating.
Yes.
I'm not a
Yes.
tech pro, well, I click in and then
Oh,
yes.
you want chat? Huh. Okay. Yes. Okay. Cool. So, and these are two tools that we're going to talk about in the workshop. So I'm so excited. If this is interesting, come to the workshop and we'll actually I'll share my screen. It'll be a whole thing. So Google Analytics is free, both free, and it helps you measure all of your website traffic, all of your things. So where's your traffic coming from? There's things called Google Events, which I'll explain and show you how to set up, that help you track what's happening on your website. So the important things that are happening on your website. So you're going to use Google Analytics to answer questions like, where's my traffic coming from? What pages are the most popular? What actions are people taking on my website? So that's Google Analytics. And then Google Search Console is also a free tool, and it helps you answer questions. What am I ranking for? So like, what is happening on the back end of my business with my SEO? So where am I getting impressions, and then where am I getting clicks in the search results? Because those are two separate things that, you then use to make decisions.
I feel like Search Console is the one that I like the most because it just gives me a little
Mhm.
condensed email every month. And it's like, this is how many people on your website, and these are like the top 3 pages. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a blog post. I should go read that blog post, make sure it's relevant to anything I offer now.
I know, right? I know.
I'm so excited to learn about these and like deep dive into it in the workshop especially because they are free resources that I feel like could change your business. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Can you touch on what UTMs are? I know this is going to happen in the workshop too, but we've mentioned it and also an underrated thing in business. So I'd love to hear.
Yeah. UTMs are the internet's best kept secret. I shall reveal it to you. UTMs are urgent tracking model. That was a company, Google purchased it. Now, any kind of tracking code that goes behind your website, people just use the term UTM. Anyways, so a little nerdy history. Your UTM parameters are, have you ever opened a website and it's like website.com gobbledygook? And you're like, what is that? Those are probably UTM parameters. They mean something to someone else. So there are multiple different ones that you can use, but 3 that I recommend. And I'll dive deep into this in the workshop and I'll show you how to set them up. But for quick little tidbit, you want to use the source. So that's like the bucket. Where do people come from? Like social, organic, direct traffic. And then we have medium, which is the balls that go in the bucket. And that would be like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. So like a little more granular to your big bucket. So you have a little more data. And then your campaign is your product generally. So like, what am I talking about? How did the person get from social, which was Instagram, to my product? It just gives you a little bit more insight into where you should be spending your time. If you're using them properly and you're tagging all of your stuff, you're going to get a little clearer instead of logging into Google Analytics and seeing like 80% of your traffic coming from direct traffic or not said or whatever. You'll understand, oh, okay, cool. That came from Instagram stories. And I was talking about this November date that I have available.
This is literally so awesome. I can't wait for this
Mhm.
because just having this knowledge and understanding of how to act, like what's actually working for your business, where you can actually press the gas on to make your business grow more, instead of just guessing, you know what I mean? Because in the
Yeah.
service industry, you're getting an inquiry, you have no idea where this came from. They could have come from Google, they could have come from your Facebook, your Instagram, but we spend so much time just like shoveling our energy into all the things because we don't know what's working. And then we end up burning ourselves out because we're just guessing on what's working because we want to keep getting leads. Like
Yeah.
having this knowledge, I'm so psyched about this. This is going to be
Yeah.
so amazing.
Yeah. I think it's so permission giving. Like, how
Yeah.
cool is it to know, like, I don't got to do that anymore because it doesn't
Right.
work. Like,
I
yes,
think
knowing what
that's so
lever to pull is exciting, but I think knowing what not to do. I don't know if you guys are into human design, but I'm a projector, which means I like to take naps. And that's very true. So, so what can I take off? Like, knowing what I can take off my plate without inhibiting my business is like such an important thing. I also do like a little daily report. Sky, you'll have one of these, and it comes right to my email. And it shows me like what actions happened yesterday. So sometimes it feels like I'm not doing enough,
yeah.
or, it's just real easy to get down when you don't know what's going on, when you're like questioning yourself. So I just have this daily little report pop in to my email every morning, and I'm like, oh, cool, that paid off. And then instantly I'm like, mm, like I just, like the pressure just came off a little bit, you know?
I love that.
Seriously.
I think we all need, like, especially, I would say, especially in the photo booth industry, most of us are like solopreneurs or we have
Yeah.
attendants, a lot of people like in the business with us, and it's only us, and you're going to be so critical of yourself and what you're doing. So just to be able to look at things and be like, okay, we're in the right direction. Like,
Yeah.
always going to be seasons of like slowing down where maybe you're not generating the revenue that you want, but like, it's a roller coaster. But to see we're chugging along.
Yeah.
Yes, like we've pulled our arrow and it is going. It's going to take a little bit while to hit that target, but it's going. We pulled it back. Yeah.
Could you just share? I know we've like had tidbits of like, oh, we're talking about this in the workshop, we're talking about this. Could you just give like a highlight of what will be covered in the workshop, maybe who it's for and what they'll walk away like knowing how to do?
100%. So the workshop is for anybody that's like, wow, sometimes I'm kind of defeated and I don't really want to feel this way anymore. Like, cool, please join. Or somebody who's like, I'm on freaking fire. How do I keep that fire lit? Please come. Let me show you how to keep the fire lit. We're going to start out and we're going to talk about the 4 buckets because that's kind of easy. And I think it helps put things in perspective. Like, let's talk about the kinds of metrics so then you can decide what you want to track. And then I'm going to show you high level how to use Google Analytics so that you can make decisions. There's like 857 million things that you can do. We don't have to do all those things. So I'll show you where to find your traffic sources. And then I'm going to show you where to see how people move through your website because I think those are the 2 most impactful ways to make decisions about what you're doing with your time and energy. Then I'm going to show you an overview of Google Search Console so you can make some decisions about your keywords and website situations. And then we're going to do the same with Bing because ChatGPT and all the AI tools use Bing's search algorithm. So I want you to be set up there too. Get as much juice as you can. So I'll show you how to do that. And then the last thing that I'll show you how to do is UTM links. And then by that time, you're going to be like, cool, I'd like to take a nap. So then I'm going to answer any questions that you have because that's like about all anybody can take in at one time for their first time when they're really starting to get their feet wet. So you will walk away knowing, where's my website traffic coming from? How are people moving through my website? What keywords am I ranking for, if any? And how do I use UTM links so that I can more clearly measure where my website traffic is coming from going forward?
Amazing.
Does anyone need to bring anything to this or have anything?
This is a learning style, so I'll give you 2 answers. If you have to use your hands when you learn, yeah, just bring your laptop and like maybe follow along on Google Analytics and Google Search Console so that you can see. I am a put the outsides of the puzzle together first kind of girly pop. So if that is you, no, just your brain and your pencil to write notes down with. Um, so it
And
totally depends how you learn.
Yeah.
perfect. There'll be replays of this if you're in the workshop. If you've signed up for it, there will be replays so you guys can sit back, relax, listen to Rebecca, just drop all the knowledge and ask questions at the end. And then you can break it into chunks and actually implement exactly what she's taught us.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I would do. I would come with my whole self and my ears open, and then I would watch the replay and like do the things, pause it, do the things, pause it, do the things. And like I'm around, I'm available, and I am very curious. I love to answer all the questions. So if you're like, I listened with my ears and I tried to do the thing, what are you talking about? You can just shoot me a DM or send me an email. I'll answer the question for you.
I
Amazing.
love that. Okay. And people might have thought we were going to wrap up this podcast, but I am not done asking questions yet. If people are interested in ads, in meta ads, if they're like, this is the way I have to go, after they take this workshop, after they've implemented all these tools, like what data would we want to know and know is performing well, I guess, for us to be like, okay, Meta's ads is the next step.
Okay, that's such a nuanced question. So I'm just gonna like get nerdy with it. I'm not. The answer is nothing. Like you just want to know that like people are submitting inquiries, like people are interested in your business, and then you're gonna set aside a budget and run experiments on Meta ads because your business is different, your market is different. Everything is so unique. So I think really when you're ready to run Meta ads, don't do it as like, oh my goodness, I have to make dollars tomorrow. They're not going to save a business because there's like so many things that go into it. So you want to use Meta ads when you're ready to scale. When you're like, I'm cruising along at a pace that I feel comfortable with. I would like to have more business. I would like more people to inquire. Then I have a budget that I feel comfortable with learning with because that's it, right? So like the cool thing about ads is that they never fail. You learn something from them always. So you might not make dollars, but what knowledge did you get? Now you understand what message resonates with people who've never heard of your business before. And that is a huge thing to know because then you pull that into maybe vendor events, or you pull that into print marketing, or you pull that into the blurb that you give your referral partners when they're going to tell people about your business. So it's really about understanding ads are an experiment and having the cash flow that you feel comfortable learning with first.
Mhm.
Then the next step would be like, okay, cool. I understand my messaging with cold audience. Now, how are we going to get them from just seeing my business to converting? But I think that's like a second step of ads. Got to make sure you have your messaging nailed down first, which is super annoying because everybody says that, but it's so true.
Yep.
Okay, I love this so much. All right, for anyone listening intimidated by data and numbers, what's one piece of encouragement you would leave them with?
Oh man. Okay. It's okay to start really small. Like you don't have to answer all the questions. You don't have to understand all of the numbers. You can start with one question. I'm going to answer this one question with my data. I'm going to have a really clear understanding of it. And then you get to grow, you get to learn. It's okay to be a beginner.
I love that.
Love.
Yeah.
Love. Okay. And yeah, encouragement for people. I'm like 10 years in my photo booth business and then 3, I think, in the photo booth edit. And I'm like just diving in and I'm like, okay, I need to look at the numbers. It's never too late. It's never too early.
No.
Rebecca will hold your hand through it. Like
Yes,
she's holding mine.
absolutely. Yes, I'm a good hand holder.
Okay, so in exactly 1 week from today, Rebecca's going live with her workshop, Get Found and Measure What Matters. If you haven't snagged a ticket yet, you can do so probably on a link below this. Maybe it'll have a UTM attached to it. Who knows? You can find Rebecca at Three Girls Marketing. I'm going to link, or we are going to link, all the different resources that we've talked about today, some blog posts, some YouTube videos. You also have a freebie.
I do. Yeah. I have a free marketing measurement playbook, which basically takes all the really good, juicy stuff from my blogs and put it in a book for you. Like learn this. And it's like workbook style. So you're like filling out and like disseminating the information that you just learned. Study guide, shall we say.
Does that pair well with the workshop? Like, should people do that with the workshop or before or after? Does it matter?
I don't think it matters. Yeah. However you learn best. Like a lot of people, some people say that the marketing measurement playbook is a little overwhelming, which I totally get. It could be. So it might be something that you like read over before the workshop, but then you use as a tool after the workshop. It really just depends on like your learning style. And I know I said that already, but seriously, people really do learn like super differently. You know what I mean? So it just depends. It's a compliment anyhow to the workshop.
I love it. Love a
Yep.
work compliment. Okay, Rebecca, I could literally talk to you for hours and hours. This happens every time we've had a call.
It's so fun.
But we're going to see you in a week at the workshop. I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.